I
Okay,
think
all
we're
good and
live.
ready to go.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, let me let people in. Hi, Sandy. Good morning. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Tim. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Colleen. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here this morning. If you could please write in the chat your name, where you're calling in from, and how many kids and what ages they are. So I'll go first. I'm Michelle, for those of you who don't know it. Hi, Stephanie. And I have two daughters who are 17 and 20. I live in Los Angeles, and one of my daughters is away at college, so I only have one at home right now. So if you could please write in the chat where you're from, your name, where you're from, and how old your children are. So again, I'm Michelle, for those of you who don't know, and I have two daughters, one who's teenager, 17, and one who's 20. And I live in Los Angeles with my youngest right now. My oldest is off at college. And I can't believe I'm already have two kids that are almost out of the house. This is crazy. Great. Tim has four kids, 25, 23, 20, 17, boy, girl, boy, girl. Amazing. Tim is one of our coaches. Marsha from Indiana. Tim, you didn't tell people where you're from. Marsha's from Indiana. She's got two boys, 10 and 6. Stephanie is, where are you from, Stephanie? She's got three girls, 11, 17, 19. Oh, Gabrielle, you're in LA too. Nice to see you. 12-year-old boy or 12-year-old girl, 10-year-old boy. Sandy from New York City, one daughter who's 6. Tim's from Indiana also. Sarah from Colorado, who has two boys. Wow, we're all over the place. Lots of good representation. Amazing. Sadie from Washington, two girls, 9 and 12. Sarah's got, from Colorado, two boys, 12 and 9. Great. Marcia, amazing. Awesome. I'm so glad to see your beautiful faces too. Natalia, can you tell us how many kids you have? Can you write it in the chat, and how old they are? All right. So we're going to get started because I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for spending this morning with me, and thank you for thinking about your kids. So we're going to talk all about um, the idea of being busy. And I just want to acknowledge that you made it here. You carved out this hour for yourself and for your kids. And that tells a lot about who you are, right? Because you're willing to show up for yourself and you're willing to show up for your kids. And you're not the kind of parent who gives up. You keep looking for answers. And today, I want to help you find more. If you don't know me, I'm Michelle. I'm the founder of Peace and Parenting. I founded Peace and Parenting back in 2015. I've been doing this work for a very long time, since my daughter was 5. She's 20 now, so 15 years. And I became a coach in 2015. I help you move from punishment-based parenting into connection-based parenting. This isn't gentle parenting, it's connected parenting, which is slightly different. I started out being a yeller and a shamer, and now I really try to use connection as my basic parenting philosophy. I believe that it totally saved the relationship that I share with my older daughter, Esme, who is strong-willed and sensitive, and my youngest, who is more agreeable and a people pleaser. This method helped her too. This is called the 10-minute mom, but it can be for dads too. This is going to be practical and realistic guidance that you can start using right now. So let's get started. And I'll take some questions at the end. If you have questions, please save them or put them in the chat and we'll get back to them at the end. Okay? All right. Put a yes in the chat if you ever had this thought. If I just had more time to be with my kids, I'd be a better mom or dad. You believe that? I see a lot of yeses. I thought that too. I want you to know that that thought is one of the most loving, but also painful thoughts a parent can have. It comes from a real place. You love your kids, you want more, you want to be enough. But here's what I need you to hear today. That belief, the more time is the answer, is costing you the connection you already have access to. Research doesn't lie. They say 10 focused, intentional minutes with your child does more for your bond than 2 hours of distracted togetherness. 10 minutes, that's it. I used to say I was the most distracted, disconnected stay-at-home mom that ever was. I spent all my time with my kids, and yet the connection wasn't there, and it wasn't because we didn't have enough time. So today, we're not talking about time management. We're not talking about attention. We're talking about attention management. There's a big difference. Quality time. Research from the University of Notre Dame found that 10 minutes of focused, device-free connection daily is sufficient to strengthen the secure attachment bond that you have with your kids. Okay, here's the real problem. Now, I want to be really honest with you here because this is the part where most parenting experts will tiptoe. I'm not going to tiptoe. 73% of moms describe themselves as physically present, like I was as a stay-at-home mom, but mentally somewhere else entirely. How many people have felt like that? Put a yes in the chat if you felt like you're there, but you're not there. You're in the room, but you're thinking about email you didn't send, the meeting you have tomorrow, the grocery list, where you remembered to RSVP. Did you remember to RSVP to that party? And your kids, they feel it. They register your absence. Even when your body's there, like mine was, here's the truth. It's not your schedule that's broken. It's what you're doing with the little windows that you already have. You're busy. You're there, but you're not present. You're busy, but not connected. You're providing everything for your kids, the food, the driving, the activities, except for the attention. And the heartbreaking part is that your child doesn't care really about the dinner that you cooked or the activity that you drove them to, even though that takes so much time and effort. They really care about the 3 seconds that you looked them in the eye and you saw them. So tonight, put your phone in a different room for 10 minutes after dinner. Just try it once and see how it feels. So what do kids actually need from us? Let's get specific. They need to feel safe, not just be safe. They need to feel safe. Those are two different things. They need attunement, which is just another word for I see you, I hear you, I get you. Your brain literally co-regulates with your child's brain in those moments. They need predictability. They need some rituals, not these like crazy Pinterest worthy moments or some crazy schedule, just consistent and simple and a daily pattern of connection that they can count on. Because predictability is a love language, especially when we're talking about connection, and it really serves a child's nervous system. And they need your presence, not your performance as a mom, not your problem solving, just you, an undivided you for minutes, not hours. They need this presence consistently, not once a week. They need it every day, unfortunately, and that's really hard. It's hard to be 100% consistent, and we're not going to be 100% consistent. And we talk all about this in our Peace and Parenting community sessions every single week. The key to being consistent is to have accountability, and that's where our community really plays a big role. Okay, I want you to write in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 5, how present are you really when you're with your kids? 1 is you're barely there, and 5 is you're totally locked in. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how present are you? Write it in the chat. 1 is you're barely there, and 5 is you're totally locked in, for the most part. Okay, I've got to see a 1. I see a 2. I love everybody being honest here. A 3. I think I was a 2 this morning, and I should have been 5, but sometimes it's really hard. The world is, talking to us. Our environment is talking to us. Our home is speaking to us. We've got all these other things on our plates, and it's hard to be present all the time. I get that. You're not alone. Okay, let's name the enemy. There are three specific traps that are stealing your connection windows, and I guarantee you're doing at least one of them right now. So, number one, the worst one, the phone vortex. The average mom checks her phone 96 times per day. 96. That's research from MIT. They also found that your child registers 70% of those moments as a form of rejection, not because you mean to reject your child, but because their developing brain reads, Mom chose the screen over me, and they file that away. Trap number two, the task takeover. This one's sneaky. You are around your kids like I was all the time. You're making dinner, you're helping with homework, you're doing laundry, you're busy, but are you there for them? Are you with them? Presence is not just proximity, presence is being there. And number three, the fixer mode. This one hits close to home for high achieving moms, especially. Your kids start to open up, and then before they can finish the sentence, you're solving the problem. You jump to, here's what you should do. And they shut down because they didn't really want your opinion or your solution. They just wanted to be heard. Okay. Which trap do you fall into? Number one, number two, or number three? I think I'm all three at times. I'm definitely all three. I work really hard. I've done better with two and three. I'm really good with number one now, but two and three I'm still working on. Yep. And these all come from love. You're not doing these things because you don't love your kids. It's just hard to parent sometimes, and you're not alone. We just need to make some slight adjustments. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can listen to episode 191 of the Peace and Parenting podcast called Connection is About Quality of Time, Not Quantity, where we discuss the reasons why what builds a deep, meaningful, rich relationship with our child is the quality of time we spend with them. Okay, here it is, the whole reason you showed up today. I want you to think about your day in terms of connection windows. And there are three of them every single day that most of us aren't really diving into. Number one, the 2-minute morning greet. It's all it takes. Before your phone, before your coffee, ideally, before the chaos of the lunches and the backpacks and the getting ready for school and all the things. 2 minutes where you get to the level of your child, you say their name, you say, I love you, and you give them either a hug or you touch them on their shoulder. Eye contact. It's not complicated, but it changes the trajectory of their day. And actually, it changes the trajectory of your day. If you can start with that before you get too busy, before you're preoccupied with the email that you just read, or the thing that you have to do, or the to-do list that you just looked at, get connected with your child first. Window two, the 3-minute transition. The first 3 minutes after your child comes home from school are scientifically the most emotionally available they will be all day. They are ripe for connection. And most of us, we say the thing that I heard my whole life and I said for years is, how was school? And what do we get? Fine. Sound familiar? It isn't the best question, and the timing isn't quite right. And we'll talk about what you can do instead in a minute. And number three, the 5-minute bedtime close. And I think most of us are pretty good at this. Bedtime is the golden window. It's dark. You're in physical proximity to your child. They're drowsy. All of these lower a child's defense. They will tell you things at 9 p.m., or if you have a teenager, 11 p.m., that they won't share at 4. If you're not using this window, then you're leaving a really important conversation of the day on the table. And we're going to get to that in a minute too. Okay, 10 minutes, 3 windows, 2 in the morning, afternoon, 2 minutes in the morning and afternoon, and 5 minutes at night. That's the framework. This week, try to do at least one of these for 7 days, just one. Okay. Let me give you the exact script of the morning greet. You crouch down on their level. You don't stand over them. You say their names. Emma, good morning. Make eye contact for 3 full seconds. Just look at them. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. A hug or a hand on a shoulder or physical touch activities really release oxytocin for you. And for them, it starts your day better. It starts their day better. That's it. 2 minutes. No phone, no rushing. And here's the science. Morning cortisol is at its highest. So a warm, connected greeting physically lowers your child's stress hormones before they leave for school. Here's what the UCLA Child Development Lab says. Children who receive a calm, connected morning showed 40% fewer behavioral issues at school. When your child walks through the door after school, here's what I want you to stop saying. How was school? How many people put a yes in the chat if you say, how was school? And what do they always say? Fine. Did you do your homework? We want to avoid that one. Do you have soccer at 5? Don't forget. Anything that sounds like a task or something that they have to do isn't going to help us with our connection. So instead, you say, I'm glad you're home. You give a hug. You offer a snack. You sit nearby. You're quiet. You're listening. Let them break the silence. I know it's so hard for us because we want to know what they've been doing all day at school. What the heck have they been doing for 7 hours? Just tell me everything. I want you to download with me. Come on, let's have a conversation about it. But that's more about us and less about them. Let them come to you. Be relaxed, be calm, and be a good listener and have that telephone put away. That transition window closes fast. And once homework and dinner kick in and activities, it's gone. Guard those 3 minutes. Drop in the chat. What do you usually say when your kid walks in the door? Is it, how was school? Or is it something else? Anybody in the chat? Think about what's a good connected way. And if it isn't how's school, what could you change it to? Okay, this is my favorite. And if you only do one thing from today, do this one. Here's the bedtime close script word for word. And you can add this into any bedtime routine. Sit on the edge of the bed, which you probably already do, or lie next to them if they're little. Put your phone away. No phones in the bedroom, no phones for nighttime routine. Ask, what was the best part of your day? And then what was the hardest part of your day? Sometimes people call this a rose and a thorn. Listen, though, and don't fix it. Don't advise, just listen. Just listen to what they have to say. You don't have to have commentary. You don't have to rebut it. You don't have to tell them, well, this is what you should do, or this is what's happening. And then you close with, I love you no matter what. That's it, 5 minutes. And here's something that might blow your mind. 82% of teenagers say they wish their parents had talked with them more, not at them. I think that really means they wish their parents listened to them more. And teens who are supposed to hate their parents, 82% of them want more conversations. So you have this window with your teens, with your young kids. Don't waste it. It's important. If you want, you can dim the lights, turn off the overhead, use a little night light. Darkness lowers defenses, and I'm sure we all know that already. That's the neuroscience, not magic. So go ahead and try this tonight. DM me on IG and let me know how it went. I want to know how your little connection pieces are working for you. If this landed for you, go listen to our special time podcast episode on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I talk about the pitfalls, the one-on-one connection time, and why even 10 minutes or 20, if you can ever manage it, rewires the relationship. The link is in the chat. Let me just anchor this with some research because I know some of you need to know this isn't just feel good advice, but that you can actually sink your teeth into it. So 10 minutes of focused daily connection is enough for secure attachment, says University of Notre Dame. You don't need 2 hours. You don't need to be around your kid all day. You actually just need to make sure those moments that you are with your kid matter. 96 phone checks per day is logged as 70% rejection by your child. That's from MIT. And 40% reduction in childhood anxiety with one predictable daily connection ritual. You don't have to have some elaborate schedule. You don't have to do 75 things for your kids to get connection, just one predictable daily connection. I'm giving you 3 small ones. And kids are 3 times more likely to disclose their issues like bullying and substance abuse and problems with partners when connection is consistent. 3 times more likely to tell you important stuff. That is why this matters. I want to tell you about a mom in our community who was a corporate attorney. She had 2 kids, 9 and 12. She was working 50-hour work weeks or even more, and she was insanely busy. She told me she was failing at everything, working too much, present too little, guilty every single day. So she started with this, just the bedtime script. Nothing else changed. She put the phone away, which she never did. She got down on the kids' level. She really felt more connected in those moments. But she had the same job, same schedule, same house. Within 2 weeks, her 9-year-old was sharing things she had never shared before, and her 12-year-old started asking her to sit with him at bedtime at 12. She told me it wasn't about more time, it was about really focused time. Those 5 minutes changed everything. That is what we're doing here today. That is what this is about. And this is what Peace and Parenting community is about. We do weekly live support calls with our Peace and Parenting coaches and myself. This is where parents come to get feedback, to feel supported, not feel alone, and most importantly, to get accountability, to be consistent and make these changes. That's where the transformation happens. Okay, quick check-in. Which of these describes where you're at right now? Number 1, I'm present but distracted. Phone is always nearby. Number 2, I'm around my kids, but we rarely have real connections. Number 3, I'm too exhausted after work to genuinely connect. Or number 4, I try, but I don't know what to say or how to connect. Which one of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop your number in the chat. All of these are solvable by the peace framework. Here's how it layers in. Pause. Before you react, take one breath. Your calm is contagious because they will co-regulate with you. Empathize. Mirror their feelings back. You seem frustrated. Not a question and not a ooey gooey, oh, you seem frustrated. It's you seem frustrated. An observation. Acknowledge. Validate. It makes sense you feel that way. Then pause. Connect. Physical touch, eye contact before problem solving, always. And enforce with empathy. I love you and I understand, but the rule in the house is this. Okay, your 10-minute windows are the perfect place to practice each of these steps. This is how intentions become good habits. And this framework right here is what we practice week after week inside the Peace and Parenting community and our one-on-one coaching, because knowing it and living it are 2 different things. Application is everything, and sometimes we need support to make that happen in an automatic way. Here's what I want you to commit to today. Add the 2-minute morning greet. Phones go away at pickup every day this week, and try the bedtime close at least once. Next week, all 3 rituals become daily. Add the peace step, pause before every reactive moment, and start noticing mood shifts in your kids. Your ritual, and week 3, your rituals are becoming automatic. Add your own 10-minute window, one that's uniquely yours, and use the special time podcast to help you get there. That's a great resource. Write this down and follow through in the first week, and accountability changes everything. Let us know how you're doing. I want to close with this. You already have everything you need. You're not failing. You're not behind. You're just busy. You're doing a million different things, and you're still showing up for your kids, and you're still showing up today on this call on a weekday morning, and you're looking for answers. And that is the answer. Your kids don't need a perfect mom. They need a present one. 10 minutes, 3 windows, 1 week. That's your assignment. That's it. If something today resonated with you, if you felt even a small shift, I'd love to invite you into the Peace and Parenting community because that's where transformation happens. That's where people learn tools and they learn how to implement them with accountability in real time. We have weekly live support calls 3 times a week. You have access to my coaches and myself, a space full of busy parents walking this path also. And if you're feeling like you need more personalized support, we also have one-on-one coaching programs that are tailored just specifically for your family. So if you comment your IG handle in the chat or your email, I will personally reach out to you and set up a free discovery call so we can figure out what might feel right for your family to get the support that you need. No pressure, just talking to us, finding out which program fits your family. Thank you so much for being here. I want to take some quick questions and see how everyone's doing out there because I've been talking a lot. Oh, Araminta's here. Sadie, I see a lot of faces. Stephanie, Araminta. Ah, Rachel's here. Okay. Questions about the 10-minute connection plan or questions in general that you're having around parenting. I'm happy to take those. If you just raise your little hand in the, if you just raise your little hand, I can then see where you're at. Who has a question? Anybody? Anybody feeling as if they are not making this connection piece, they're having a hard time with the connection, or they're having a hard time really understanding where you can implement the connection. What does the after school connection look like when I get home after you get home after your children? Sarah's saying. That's a really good question. I mean, I think they're going to have that initial wanting to be with you as soon as you get home. And so I would take that same framework and I would use it on your initial greet with them as soon as you encounter them. You'll just use that same framework, but when you see them. And I think that's just being quiet and being present and really attuning to them when you're there. Is that helpful? Is Sarah here still? Can't see the chat for some reason. It's not showing up. Oh, here we go. There it is. I don't know why. Okay. But that was a really good question. Anybody else have questions about it? Or anybody else have questions about connection in general? Or specific questions about their own children? Yeah, Rachel? You're on mute.
Sorry, I thought I hit it.
That's okay.
My oldest likes to get her connection at nighttime
10 p.m.
after everyone's gone to bed. And I'm just curious how, like, it's really important that she get good sleep because she wakes up early and has a long day and she's still a little body. But how can we encourage, like, you can't keep coming out of your bed to be with that. Like, we gotta get to bed now.
Yeah. I mean, I think making sure that she gets her connection cup filled up during the day, right? So that she doesn't feel like it's all happening just at night.
Mhm.
So doing those other pieces during the day. And then, like the special time piece, I think is good, right? If you can fit special time in right before bed, that might help her feel more connected. But what I say, how old's your daughter? 8, 9,
It's almost 7.
7. But I think as they get older, unfortunately, what happens is that they end up staying up later. Those end up being the places where they really do want to connect is when they're a little bit older, but it doesn't take 2 hours. Spending 5 minutes can be enough sometimes if we're really intentional about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Araminta?
There's a question in the chat. Do you
Oh,
want to do that first and then me?
yes. Okay, thank you. How would I tailor the 3-minute transition window when we homeschool and know how their days are? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is they might have a different feeling about how their day is than you think they're feeling. And it's not really about getting the information or about them telling you something that you may or may not know. It's about them being able to talk and you being able to listen. And the listening piece is the connection, right? It's just about listening to them because who knows what their real thought is in there about what their best moment was or their worst moment was in that day. You might have experienced it with them, but their experience might be different. And it's just about letting them have their voice and seeing them and hearing them and understanding them, I think, in those moments. If that makes sense. Is that Lindsay? I don't see Lindsay here, but yes. Yeah, Araminta, what about you?
So I'm really good at not saying, "How was your day?" And I say, "Hi, I'm so happy to see you." And I'm just wondering if asking if he's hungry is also kind of perceived as a demand, maybe, because, I know he probably is, and he's probably a little grumpy. And there's a store like 2 blocks from his school that in the past I've stopped at a couple times so he can get a snack. And I don't want him to miss that opportunity. I just,
I would just build it
I'm
in,
sort of hovering. I'm
Araminta.
like, I miss you.
Yeah. I would just build it in. I would just stop at the store.
Just stop.
Yeah. You don't
He'll
have to
freak
ask
out. He'll
him. He
take
doesn't
me
have to just
home. Okay.
I mean, if he protests, then he protests. But if you drive
Okay.
straight to the store and say, "Let's get something to eat," it might just take all the friction and the tension out of it, right? Because now it's a demand, and you're
It's a
asking him, and he has to
question.
think
Okay.
yes or no, and he has ODD, and so he's going to want to say no, no matter what you say.
I know. I'm just still trying to like get my question away from, he likes quiet time, I think, or he'll start talking, but
He
I'm
can
so excited to see him. I haven't seen him in so many hours, and I'm trying not to say, "How was your day?" But I'm like, "So did you have a teacher you like?"
Yeah. And you so badly want to know everything, right? I remember when
Do.
Ethne went to kindergarten, I was like, if you don't tell me everything, I'm going to explode. I need to know what you did all day, what's going on, you know? But it's too much for them. It's too ambiguous. It's too big of a question. How was your day? I don't know. 7,000 things happen, Mom. Like, what do you want me to tell you? But you might go, like, I'm going to go to the store and grab something to eat right now. And don't even ask and just go, and maybe he'll come in with you, maybe he won't. Yeah. Down here, we've got some questions. Oh yeah, we got a lot. I would love to see these people in real time because I can chit chat with them. I'm curious if you're picking up kids from school, does the time in the car count as the 3 minutes? It ends up simply being a quiet ride home. Yeah, I mean, I think it can definitely count as long as our phone is away, we're not distracted. Maybe we have some physical touch, we're touching them on their leg and we're, just saying, I'm so glad to see you. I'm right here and allowing for that moment to be, a sharing moment if they want or a quiet moment if they want. But I think that totally counts. Yeah. Ideas for starting the nighttime connection with a 17-year-old that gets annoyed when we go to say goodnight, maybe earlier. Stephanie, can you tell me more? Where are you? Are you still here? I'd love to talk to you about that because I don't know what maybe earlier means. Oh, you mean starting the good night earlier. Yeah. And maybe the connection piece isn't so much of a bedtime routine, but it's just like sometime in the evening, getting in their room and asking them the best and the worst part of their day. And as if you start making it a routine, maybe they will, settle into it more. And I guess it depends on like what other things are happening. Have you not had a bedtime routine? Have they not been connecting with you? I'd have to know a little bit more about that one. How would I tailor a 3-minute transition window when we homeschool? Okay, we did that one. We're dealing with sibling rivalry with two girls, 12 and almost 10. The oldest is jealous of the youngest. How do you encourage celebrating each other without jealousy? That's a really big question. It's probably for a different presentation. Actually, Maria, we should write down sibling rivalry, should be our next one. But really, the basics of sibling rivalry, there's lots of good podcasts. I also have some guides on sibling rivalry. Maybe somebody could put the sibling protocol in there for me. But the basic understanding of siblings is that we don't take sides. We remain neutral no matter what. And I think when we take sides, we really increase the sibling rivalry. When we can stay neutral, we decrease the sibling rivalry. Also, the connection we share with our child indicates how well they'll get along with their sibling. So if you strengthen the relationship you share with their child, their prefrontal comes online, they're able to think better, they're able to negotiate better, they're able to share better. So all of this stuff that we're talking about today will help sibling rivalry, but there's also lots of stuff that goes along with it. Katie, I'm curious if you're picking your kids from, yes, yes. Did I get to all of those? Did I miss anything? Great. We got the sibling rivalry protocol and we have a sibling rivalry podcast too. That's really good. All right. Anybody else have questions or thoughts or anything? No? All right. If you are interested in the peace and parenting community, or you're just interested in knowing more about it, or you want to grab a call with me and so we can discuss it, or discuss coaching, or discuss what kind of supports you might need for sibling rivalry, or for any of the things that you're having a hard time with, please leave in the chat your email address or your IG handle. And Araminta is part of our community. Araminta, maybe you'll just share a little bit about what it means to be in the community, what it's done for you. She's been here for a while. She's got a kid who is, well, she'll tell you, he has ADHD, ODD, and he maybe has a little autism.
He scored very low, but he's on the autism spectrum, and he says no to everything, and he's very hard to have a conversation with, because if he doesn't want to talk about it, he'll block whatever you say with something else. But being part of Peace and Parenting has definitely changed the entire trajectory of our lives and really saved us. I mean, I don't know how much into like telling you how horrible it was 3 years ago when I met Michelle and started this journey, would tell you that it's really like night and day. And I mean, he wasn't even in school. It was terrible. And now he is in school and he has friends and he's, responsible enough. Like, he has a Apple Watch so I can track him so he can make his own decisions out in the world. And I don't
And
know.
yeah, he's not tearing the drywall off the walls
He's not so much, not so
anymore.
much. I mean, there's still like every day is a struggle.
Yeah,
But these tools are indispensable.
yeah.
And I'm still learning. I'm still trying to refine, and it's fascinating to see it in real time, how it's happening. Like yesterday, he was really wild and running around, and then as he's calming down later, I'm finding out something happened at school that I didn't know about, or but at in that moment, and that moment has happened throughout his life where I didn't know what it was, and I just was, blindsided by insane behavior and throwing things and whatever, and it just really helps to know.
Yeah, definitely. And Rachel's part of our community too. Rachel, how has the community been for support for you? Well, how has it helped you? I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
I'm like, I'm using my husband's computer and I'm not as,
All
it's an Apple. And so I'm always like, what am I pressing?
good.
Um, I have been a part of the community, I want to say like 2 years maybe. And I joined, my oldest was 4, so she's, or like 4.5. I've since added another baby, and my life's gotten, just a little bit crazier, but it has been really helpful to me. I did some coaching. I think that was huge and just initially kind of working through some triggers and that level of support was hugely helpful, I think. And if I could, I'd probably do it longer, but it's just more of like a financial commitment that I don't know. I think the weekly calls and like doing it with other people has been um just just really amazing. I like knowing there's other people who are feeling the same way I am, that I'm like the me too every week is good for my brain.
Yeah.
It makes me feel a lot less alone. And yeah, I think this is a lifelong journey of
Yeah.
like how am I going to be the best version of myself, not just for my kids, but
Yes.
in every relationship. And I feel like it's trickled into a lot of other relationships, which has been cool to see.
Yeah, I think that too. Tell myself like, or I tell myself things, but I say like I've become a better person because of this work, because it made me really look at myself and say, oh, I don't really like the way I'm responding to my children. It must be something in here that I need to really change. I think this work's brought that about for myself and I think for lots of other people. So yeah, Armenta.
I want to add that because the groups have parents of children of different ages, you would think that it wouldn't apply, but it really does apply. And I only have the one child, but the sibling rivalry um, issues really help me understand him better and with his friends. And even, my child is jealous of the cat, and there are just all these different things that come up that you wouldn't even think to ask, and other parents ask. And I just find all of that enriching, even if it isn't specifically applicable, or I don't think it's specifically applicable to my situation.
Yeah, I agree. Learning in a group is lovely because you get to, even the questions you don't ask, you're learning because they're asking questions like, oh my gosh, that's a good reality for me I never thought of, right? So if you're interested in and looking for that kind of support, if you put your email address in the chat or if you just put your IG handle or some way we can contact you, I'm happy to get on a call and just discuss those options. And I'm so grateful that you all came to this meeting and spent all this time, and your kids are very, very lucky children. So thank you, everybody. I will see you next week. If you come where I don't know when we're having it, but we'll send it all out. All right.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Dana.